So we have here in the sentence the principal clause is there, the main clause. Then you have the subordinate clauses, right? So subordinate clauses are dependent on the principal clause. So the principal clauses, they are independent in themselves, right? Now here we have yes, so like what the clause which is joined with the principal clause, the subordinate clause, and sometimes we have two equal clauses. They are the coordinate clauses, right? And they are joined with the conjunctions. Now, within these clauses also we have various kinds of clause. You have your noun clause, you have your adjective, and you have your adverb clause. Okay, right? Clear? Yes. Now, all of you please look at the screen. And as we look at the screen, I'll just discuss things with you all. Is the screen visible? Can you see it? Can you see the screen? Give me a yes or no. Okay, fine. So we all noticed, you can look at your books here or you look at the screen here and you know what a clause is, right? So what is a clause? It's a group of words that includes a subject and a verb. Okay, and you all know that, isn't it? Yes. Now here we'll just see what is a clause. We know that what a clause is. It has a subject and a verb. And clauses, they make up a sentence. They can be a main clause or the principal clause. They can be a subordinate clause or a coordinate clause. Right? Yes. And of course, like here, the fast red squirrel darted up a tree. So what is the subject? The fast red squirrel. And yes, we have darted up a tree. It is there. We have the parts of the sentence which has a subject and the verb. Okay, right? And yes, we have depending upon the number of clauses that a sentence can have. So let's say just one clause, they can be two also, they can be many clauses, right? Now here, yes, so we have, let's just read this today. There are three basic clauses that can be used in a sentence. They are the main clause, the subordinate clause, and further kinds of it, right? In your main clauses and subordinate clauses, they can be the adjective, the noun, we also have adverbs also. Now the independent clause, the principal clause, the main clause, it can be sentence in itself. Like this one, the sentence that we have read. Okay, but the subordinate clause is incomplete, even though it has a subject and a verb, right? So when the man broke into the house, the dog barked at him. When the man broke into the house or the dog barked at him, they are incomplete in itself. But yes, in combination, it would make a meaningful sentence, right? Yeah, now here, a car, the shiny blue car, is it? What is this? Is it a clause? No, it's not a clause, isn't it? But yes, so here, when I add a few words to it, yes, I add verb to it, I have a subject also, then we will see, like, see, the shiny blue car raced around the track. Yes, so here it is. How many clauses are there? Is it? It's just one, right? And of course here it is a simple sentence. Now what is a main clause? How do we identify the main clause? The main clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb, and it is a complete sentence on its own, right? It does not need anything else to add more meaning to it. So main clauses are also referred to as an independent clause. Yes, so main clause, what is it? It's independent. Main clause, principal clause, they are there, right? They can stand alone, just like this, the shiny red car or the squirrel, right? All these here, the sentences, they don't need any more information. But as we add more words to them, as we add more information to them, we can add more clauses to it. Okay, right? Now, so sentences we have here. Look at this. The cat mewed. The cat mewed. His car broke down at the station. We have a subject, we have a verb. The girl laughed loudly. So these are simple things, revision of things that you have done earlier. But yes, this is a little, what you can say, topic which we have to revise again and again. Now, what are subordinate clauses? Subordinate clauses, they don't make sense on their own, right? And they are dependent. Subordinate kya hai? Dependent. Okay, so it is not main, it is not meaningful in its own, but it becomes more meaningful when it is joined with another clause. Okay, right? A subordinate clause is a clause that can't stand alone as a complete sentence, even though it contains a subject and a verb. It doesn't contain a complete thought like a main clause does. It has to be linked to the main clause. So we know this, what is a subordinate clause, right? So like here, sitting happily, the chicken laid eggs. Oh wow, the chicken who was busy laying eggs sat happily. Looking over the hill, she sighed wistfully. And it is there, the girl who was looking over the hill sighed wistfully. Sitting happily is a subordinate clause because it is not a complete thought. It needs the main clause. The chicken laid eggs to make any sense. So because of this, a subordinate clause is a type of dependent clause. So here, can we identify the dependent clauses here? The chicken laid eggs, fine. Sitting happily is their dependent. The chicken who was busy laying eggs sat happily. So who was busy laying eggs? Looking over the hill, she sighed wistfully. She sighed wistfully. What is here? Looking over the hill, isn't it? Right? So we have here the subordinate clauses that are dependent on them. Now, what are the coordinate clauses? Coordinate. They are independent clauses. They both are meaningful and we join them with the conjunctions. Okay? Right? So a coordinate clause is made when you connect two independent clauses that are of equal importance. These clauses are connected by coordinating junctions. So they are here. So in a sentence, see what can we have? We can have two subordinate clauses right here joined with a conjunction. We can have a principal clause with a subordinate clause, right? Okay, but yes, the subordinate clause, it cannot be on its own, or the dependent clause, right, as we have discussed. Now, coordinate clauses also combine two sentences. So it can be difficult to get the difference between them, right? They both are same, they both are equal, they both are meaningful. Now it is here, what is coordinate? Join them. Let's work together. So these two, they work together to make it meaningful. Okay, right. Now in a coordinate clause, the two sentences are working together as a team. How nice. So these two sentences, they join and they become what? Coordinate clauses. Right, look at this. Let's identify the clauses here. He wanted to go to the beach. It started raining. What is the conjunction here? But. What does it join? It has joined two independent clauses. You can feed the dog. You can wash the dishes. What is it joined with? Or is a conjunction? Yes. They have homework to do, yet they keep putting it off. So which are the conjunctions, the clauses over here? They have homework to do, they keep putting it off, yet, isn't it? Right. Now here they are joined by a coordinating conjunction. So as you have done coordinating conjunctions, and how they are what? Yes, so they join two independent clauses together And because they are joined by a coordinating conjunction, you can say they are coordinating clauses. They join together to give more meaningful sentence, isn't it? Right? So here, can you identify the conjunction? They have homework to do. Yet they keep putting it off. Yet. Okay? I like chocolates. I like sweets. Right? So I join it with and. Both I like chocolate and I like sweets are main clauses. Right? Now within a clause. So you have done, we have the main clause, which is meaningful in itself. It's an independent clause. We have subordinate clauses. Now, subordinate clauses are of various kinds, which will join with the principal clause, right? So, to make it more meaningful, or rather, the subordinate clause will become meaningful when it is attached with the main clause. So, what kind of subordinate clauses are there? Adjective, noun, and verbs also, isn't it? Now, what is an adjective clause? Adjective clause begins with a relative pronoun. कौन से relative pronouns हैं? Whom, whose, which, that. Yes, or a relative adverb also. When, where, or why. And of course, here in our book, there is a little hint also. What is the way you can identify it? Now, they include a relative pronoun or adverb alongside a subject and a verb. कौन सी तीन चीजें हैं in your adjective clauses? Right, you have a subject and a verb and a relative pronoun. Okay, so who, whose, which, when, where, why, all these, right? Now, similar to a subordinate clause, an adjective clause is dependent because it relies on the rest of the sentence, because it has to join with another clause to make it meaningful. Okay? Is now like here, yes, there are certain words you have to look out for. Now, relative pronouns, yes, are used to introduce an adjective clause, just like who, whose, whom, which, that. Where subordinate conjunctions are when, where. Okay, so little hints we have, right? Okay, the girl who has short hair is laughing. The girl is laughing. What is the clause here? Can you identify it? Can you identify the adjective clause? Can you identify it? Yes? So what is one thing? The relative pronoun. Yes, the girl who has short hair, isn't it? Is laughing. Toby, whose dad is a vet, lives next door. Whom are we giving more information about in the first sentence? The girl. So it functions as an adjective. Right, so what is it going to do? Just like an adjective, but yes, how is it joined in the sentence? How is it present in the sentence? It is present with a relative pronoun. Okay, so you know what your relative pronouns are: your who, whom, whose, which, isn't it? That. Yes, Toby, whose dad is a vet, lives next door. The book which has the dragon on the cover is my favorite. So yes, there are clauses which has the dragon on the cover. The stray cat that I pet sometimes. That I pet sometimes. Okay. Those people whose names are on the list will go to camp. Whose names are on the list. Fine. So yes, so subordinate clause, adjective clause क्या है? It's a dependent clause. Okay, right? And yes, here because it is not meaningful on its own, but when it joins with another clause, it becomes meaningful. Clear? Yes. Right? So you can identify the clauses over here. Now let's see if we can find out what are the noun clauses. So a noun clause works in the same way as a noun. What does a noun clause do? What does a noun do in a sentence? A noun is a what? It's a name of it, isn't it? Right? So the noun clause also it works in the same way. You could replace the clause with a noun and it would still make sense. Right? So noun clauses act in the same way as a noun or a noun. It contains a subject and a verb. And yes, so let's see some examples. Do you know what you're going to wear? Do you know what dress to wear? Do you know where the cafe is? Where is the noun clause over here? Yes? Where is the noun clause? Can you identify what is the noun clause over here? Do you know what you're going to wear? Yes? Please tell me. Can you identify it? And why is the strength so less today? Yes? Do you know what you're going to wear? Do you know what? Right? So of course, so we have it here. So noun clauses will answer to the question what. Right? What you're going to wear. Do you know what dress to wear? Do you know where the cafe is? Yes, so where the cafe is? The cafe where I work is just over there. What is over there? The cafe where I work. Can you identify the noun clauses over here? Can you? Yes. So what does an adjective clause do? Right? And an adjective clause, yes, functions as an adjective. It is introduced by relative pronoun. And what else? What else do we know about it? Yes, so it is just like a subordinate clause. But a subordinate clause is meaningful on its own, but this adjective clause, it's a dependent clause, will become meaningful when it is joined with the relative pronoun with the main clause, right? Or with other words here. Okay, so you keep on adding the words, you keep on adding, you have your verbs and your adjectives and all, and yes, your clauses you can create. Now look here, noun clause will answer to the question what. What is adverb clause? What does an adverb do? What does it modify? Yes, correct. Now, once again, all of these noun clause, adverb clause, adjective clause, apne aap mein meaningful nahi hai. That is it. So we have, they are dependent clauses, right? Because they are not meaningful on their own. And now an adverb clause offers a description and modifies a sentence, just like it modifies, like what the verb adverb does. Yes, so we say it modifies a verb. So similarly, the verb clause also does that. And of course, it has a subject, it has a verb, but it is not meaningful in itself. She walked slowly. She walked like an old lady. She walked as if she were heading to the gallows. How does she walk? She walked slowly. She walked like an old lady. Like an old lady. She walked as if she were heading to the gallows. Okay? Right. Can we see this? What are some examples here? So during the day, Dracula slept in a coffin. Dracula, yes. The verb is slept. And during the day, Yeah. When the moon shone, he lurked in the sun. When the moon, we talk about the subject, the verb is shone, and of course here, he lurked in the shadows. This is a clause, right? Yes. Now he stalked a pretty milkmaid who lived in the neighboring village. Here, just a minute.